Ravi, would you say that an individual, like be it a CA or an HR, or let me talk about my mom. So my mom, when I was small, was a consultant. Like she was an interior designer. Then she opened her own preparatory school. She was running it for 20 years, and then she was also doing a lot of social work with NGOs. But due to health issues, because that required a lot of time commitment, she had to close all of that. But now, so do you suggest that, considering the time and health issues she has, will it be flexible or easier for her to be an expert on the organization's ICC?
I think before we talk about flexible and easier, we need to understand, is this something that she should even consider, right? And this is one thing that I have been talking to actually whoever I meet, and be it someone who is currently involved in a full-time role, or someone who is looking for a career extension, or someone who is looking for a career shift. Okay, I tell all these people that you have all the right elements. You understand how the organization works. You understand the nitty-gritties of human interactions in a workspace. You have either run your own setup or you have been part of a business setup. And somewhere we assume that there's this expectation that a person who has worked for a number of years, they understand professionalism. When I say professionalism, because this is not a role that requires you to go to a workplace every day, right? This is also not a role where someone else will come and tell you what needs to be done. So you are the one who is actually calling the shots, deciding how exactly the work needs to pan out. You are also the person who will define the role and the extent of role. As we were talking about in the previous question, what and how much it is that needs to be done is also something that that individual will decide, right? It is for all these people, irrespective of which industry they are part of, because we need industry specific experts, right? Irrespective of which function they are part of, because they are part of an organization. Irrespective of whether they are a full-time employee in some organization, or they are either working as consultants. We have so many HR consultants out there, right, who are either providing some HR services to companies or providing training support to organizations. Now, all these profiles, all these roles in whatever capacity are actually eligible to consider this particular career role as one of the extensions. But let's also not miss out on what's the gap. The gap is knowledge.
Okay.
Because you are entering, I always emphasize on the word expert here, because you are entering a workspace as an expert. When an organization is looking out for you, they are not looking for just anyone to join in. That's not the objective. When an organization is looking for someone to join their ICC committee, they are actually looking for someone who is an expert. So my emphasis is always on an external expert member, right? Because the rest of the individuals internally are definitely not experts on this, right? They may have general knowledge, but not really the experts. So the knowledge is something which is missing there. So as soon as, or as long as these individuals, irrespective of what industry and what role they are coming from, can equip themselves with the knowledge, in-depth knowledge of this particular law, yes, this is for everyone. And you see how the beauty of it is, right? It's very respectable. Like, come on, it cannot get any more respectable than this, right? You are helping workplaces, Indian companies, Indian setups actually build mechanisms and implement them to create a safe and healthy working environment. Not just for women. If you are successful enough, you will actually be able to create, gender neutral policy environment. You are helping organizations build a safe working environment for their people. This is how you will be this is the work that you are actually involved into. It gives you flexibility, right? Because it's not a full-time role. You actually get to work with multiple setups, multiple companies. Your exposure, your understanding, your day-to-day learnings actually increase exponentially, because you're not dealing with one single organization, right? So that also keeps increasing your expertise in this field. Thirdly, it's lucrative. But that is actually connected or dependent on how much you are willing to involve. If you're going to be a reactive person, reactive external member, you will just have to wait for cases to happen and then go and appear and then get per visit remuneration that happens. But imagine if you can take a whole role, be the trainer, be the person who is actually training the committee also, who is also conducting organization wide training sessions, also drafting the policies. There's a lot of work that needs to be done, and organizations are actually looking for responsible professionals to look into these areas, and organizations are willing to pay also. So why not? It has the best of all the worlds that we can actually possibly think of.
Okay. So once a person has the knowledge, has the expertise, has been in the field for quite some, like, whatever is required, essentially has everything, including knowledge, which is the most important element.
Mm-hmm.
How does he or she approach a company, or get to become an external member?
To be very honest, I have not come across a single portal where I have seen a listing from organizations wherein they are posting that we need an external expert member on our ICC, right? So it's still a job opening which has not matured enough that it's out there on the job portals right now. But the best way to go about is one, of course, the online media. So write about it. If
Okay.
you know some things, if you're experiencing, if you're practicing in this area, please write about it, because most of the professionals internally in an organization, HR professionals who are responsible, HR and the legal professionals who are responsible to implement the guidelines or look into these internal matters, they go and look for these individuals online. And what's the best way to find them? They look for people who have written on these subject areas. So that's one. Write about it, join online forums where these discussions are happening, be part of the online community, make yourself visible. Second is the offline channel, of course. So offline is how you go to networking events, any, not just, don't just go to the HR events, go to any event that is happening, because as long as there are individuals or professionals who are part of a particular setup there, you can always start the conversation by understanding how this organization is ensuring the safety of the people who are associated with them. And this is also a wonderful way, because you're introducing, for all you will know, the person that you're speaking to has never heard of this law also. So when you start a conversation and you start telling them this is what you do, okay, you're also opening a new world to that individual. And this is how you introduce yourself, this is how you bring your expertise to that organization. Take that conversation forward. So like any other profession, you have to go out there, you have to meet people, you have to introduce what is it that you are doing, you have to introduce other individuals to this particular field of thought. You have to introduce them and educate them about this law, make them understand how it works in the favor of the organization. And I don't see any reason why things will not work out like
All
that.
right.
Yes.
Those were great ideas, Pallavi.